Are the objectives of NATO compatible with those making America great again, or do they serve a larger globalist agenda? I'm Robin Kinderman, and you're watching JBS Straight Talk. NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, is a political and military alliance between the U.S., Canada, and several European countries. Established by the North Atlantic Treaty during the Cold War, it was promoted as a regional arrangement to stop the spread of Soviet communism. The North Atlantic Treaty is yet another part of the United Nations. The heart and soul of the NATO alliance is Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty, which states that an armed attack against one or more of NATO countries in Europe or North America shall be considered an attack against them all. In other words, if one country is attacked, all the other countries are bound by the treaty to come to its military aid, including the U.S., regardless of whether or not Congress has issued a declaration of war. Believe it or not, Congress hasn't issued a declaration of war since World War II. Much of our military action has taken place under the authority of NATO and the UN Security Council resolutions. Earlier this week, Alex Newman reported on thenewamerican.com. German Defense Minister Ursula von der Leyen said that the alliance's military force was needed for use against opponents of the rules-based international order. The bizarre screed comes as more and more people across the Western world and beyond turn against the globalist world order that von der Leyen says must be preserved, even by military force if need be. Among the most prominent critics has been the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, who globalists claim is seeking to blow it all up. The so-called rules-based international order is just another name used by globalists to describe the New World Order. By rules, globalists mean those rules and norms established by the UN and its various agencies since the end of World War II. The purpose of NATO, as the German defense minister sees it, is to protect the New World Order from any threats against it and by any means necessary. And as Newman points out, perhaps the single biggest threat as far as world leaders are concerned is President Trump, who has previously questioned NATO's Article 5 provision and flirted with the idea of pulling out of the globalist alliance. We can't focus on making America great again if we're constantly being told what to do by the UN, or constantly at risk of getting involved in another military skirmish because NATO says so. Withdrawing from NATO would be a huge victory for American sovereignty and a shattering blow to the deep state's globalist aims for regional and world government. Unfortunately, this past Tuesday, the House of Representatives voted overwhelmingly 357 to 22 for H.R. 676, the NATO Support Act, intended to prevent Trump from withdrawing the U.S. from NATO. Our founding fathers warned against entangling alliances, which is precisely what NATO is. In his farewell address in 1796, President George Washington cautioned, "It is our true policy to steer clear of permanent alliances with any portion of the foreign world." Congress should heed Washington's words of wisdom by pulling out of NATO. Contact your representatives and senators and urge them to get us out of NATO, and more importantly, get us out of the UN. For more information, visit jbs.org. Links will be in the description. Until next time, take care and God bless.